When we have a fighter like Tawanchai who can base his whole fight style around one weapon, one big rear leg round kick that can break through arms, we have to cover this one technique. We don't need to cover his whole style today, just this one technique. What he's doing with it, which is extraordinary, which is allowing him to just demolish opponents, we gotta cover it. So hopefully by the end of this episode, your skill level on your rear leg round kick will have improved. There are just some fighters who can base everything off one technique. They're just so good that this one technique is always going to be scary. But we have to sometimes ask, what are they doing that's different than all the other fighters? Are they just extraordinary with that technique because of who they are? Or are they doing any extra little things which the average person does not do? And with Tawanchai, I see a few things, well actually more like 6, that the average person does not do with their kick. So we're gonna break those down right now. One of the first things we're gonna note, which he does occasionally, is when he throws his round kick, his foot will start, let's say here, he throws his round kick and it will land over here. He does not always place his foot back exactly where it started, and this allows him to be a more evasive target after the kick. And that's a big part of throwing the same technique over and over. Eventually people are gonna get a read on it and they're gonna start countering you. But with him, the very first thing he does to make it difficult to counter him is getting that foot just placed off very slightly to the side, which makes it harder to land any counter shots on him. Now, when we're learning to roundhouse kick, if you go to a Muay Thai gym, very often they're gonna tell you to really elevate through your standing foot. I would teach that most of the time as well. But when we see Tawanchai do his single kicks in a fight or single round kicks on Thai pads, more often than not, he's flat-footed upon impact of the kick. He's not elevated, he is flat. When he throws his multiple round kicks, he starts getting that elevation so he can skip them off really fast and keep that balance. But overall, I would say we need to look at this guy and recognize that he is somebody who shows us we don't always have to elevate our foot. We can be flat and we can keep our weight a little bit more central instead of trying to elevate. I'm doing a combat gear giveaway. This is going to include an official karate combat gi plus a pair of the fight shorts. I am personally going to ship a Christmas present to one of you. You can get entered at this website by clicking the link in the description below. The giveaway closes soon, so get registered as soon as possible. Now, Tawanchai does this massive arm whip when he throws. It's not here and keeping this hand tight. Pretty much all the time he'll whip his hand up. He'll whip it around for lots of momentum. And this is something which seems to work very nice for him. The non-kicking arm, which in his case is his right hand, drops down and circles back up. You want this hand to finish here for safety reasons, but that extra little pump around seems to gain him a lot of power. Now, of course, it's going to be a little bit more of a tell that something's coming, but he whips it around so fast that most of these fighters, pretty much all of them actually, are not able to use that to their benefit. Now, in addition, something else Tawanchai does with his foot is he'll do a pre-step, and he'll pre-step into a pivot position. He doesn't always stand with his toes pointing towards his opponent and pivot during the lift. He'll just go step, and then he's already in position to blast that kick off. Step into position. And that one right there is gonna help him on his distance, puts him where he wants to be, and then for some reason this just seems to work for him. Would I advise that everybody else out there do this exact same way? No, it'll work for some people and it won't for others. But if you like being in this stance here maybe a little bit longer and you like to take a step and end up very wide and you feel like that works for you, give it a shot in sparring, because you might find, ooh, that's what makes this kick feel safer or land more for me. Now, the time that Tawanchai throws the kick against his opponent's arm and breaks it, he has such a massive chamber in his leg, and he does this quite often. He doesn't do this sort of stiff leg, like we see a lot of Muay Thai fighters do. He brings it up and he gets that snap later in the kick. And a lot of times people don't get taught that when they're Muay Thai fighters. Like I said, it's more of a stiff leg with a little bit of extension at the end, but this guy is crashing it from way in here and at the very end, snapping it out for extra power. And you have to think that should give you extra power because he has the momentum of his hip, the whole body whipping, the whole arm coming up, but then at the end he gets to add that extra crash, which seems to give him a lot of power. And in addition, it allows him to land from here, or here, or here, or here, or here. The range that he can throw at is so diverse. The final thing that we are talking about, which he does, which is quite unique, and I like it a lot, is his hands post kick. We already talked about him kicking and catching a different position, but also if he stands stationary, he'll come kick, and then he'll put that arm right out, almost like a long guard, but he just comes with the punch. It's down the middle, but holds it so that his shoulder is protecting his jaw, and anything down the middle is going to be hard to throw because there's already something there. Coming from this position, he comes up and then just sticks it out. Out, right there. If we put this all together, we go, this point, this point, this point, we can start creating a kick that is quite similar to Tawanchai's. Will it work perfectly for you the exact way that he throws it? Probably not. But you can take these little pieces and try and add them into your kick and see which ones you like and which ones you don't. So let's call it to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of Tawanchai's rear leg round kick, which is just so mean. As always, guys, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.